It's been a long time since I've read something that has really transported me and taken me away from this earth into a world of fantasy and imagination. So my personal home library right now is not very big, and the real libraries are closed, so I've decided to do a book haul. I went on Book Outlet and bought like 21 books, which is kind of overkill, but it's been a while since I found anything in my chosen genre that I like to read that has been good for me to read. I don't know. It's hard for me to find books that I like. I'm very picky. I only read YA fantasy or middle grade fantasy, and I don't know. I don't like books unless they have like this laundry list of extremely specific things, so it's miserable trying to find books, but you like what you like, right? I mean, I can't help it. I am the way that I am just because, so I can't change that. So I'm going to be trying out a ton of books, and hopefully one of these will be able to pick me up out of my reading slump, and hopefully I'll be able to find something I really like. So as you can see, this stack of books is as tall as me when I'm sitting right here, almost as tall as me. Some of these are books that I've heard about here on YouTube or on Instagram or something, and some of them are just books that I saw on Book Outlet and thought they looked like I might like them. Hopefully they have some of the things that I'm looking for in books. I've never done a book haul before, but here we are. I thought it would be fun. Just like all the videos I do in here, I thought it would be fun to fill in the blank. So here we go. This is already going so well. The first set of books I have here is, I think, just a duology. It's called Given to the Sea and Given to the Earth. Both of these are obviously by the same author. Oh my gosh. You can tell I really know how to do book hauls. Okay, so these are by Mindy McGinnis. And I did not realize, I hate when I do this, but I did not realize that I accidentally got one of them in paperback and one of them in hardback. It's killing me. I hate that, but we're gonna go with it because I have no way to fix it now. So these sound like they're romantic, which that's one of the things on my laundry list of books, is it's gotta have like amazing romance in it. Now, but with the caveat of, I don't like, crazy, I don't like adult romance. I like YA romance, so it's gotta be sweet. It's gotta be like, in the safe zone. I don't like to read about, adult style romance, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm hoping that this has some good romance in it. So it just says, kings and queens rise and fall, loyalties collide, and romance blooms as the sea rises relentlessly. So I don't know, it sounds good. So this is one I've seen a lot. It's one of the ones I'm talking about that I've seen on YouTube and Instagram and stuff. This is A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer. And I've heard good things about it, and I've heard terrible things about it, where people hate it or they like it. I don't know, it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling that tells me that, like, I have no choice. Another thing, fun fact, I'm gonna throw these in as I'm going through these books, but one of the things that is on my laundry list, I'm just gonna start calling it my laundry list of things that I like to see in books, is I like it when they're standalones. I'm okay with duologies because it's kind of like, it's kind of just a longer standalone, but if it's this long series, I'm not too inclined to read it. I feel like it's just, I don't know, I don't like long series, and I don't know why. Like I said, I like what I like, okay? This is not a standalone, so I don't know if I'll like it or not, but we'll try it out. I'm not going to give you like a synopsis on probably any of these. I'm just going to give like elements that I think I might like to get me out of my reading slump. So there's that one. You can already tell I do so well at explaining things, don't I, guys? I'm just so good at explaining. This whole video is going to be a mess, but it's fine. This is one that just came out by my girl, Gail Carson Levine. This is called The Ceiling Made of Eggshells, and it is a historical, it's a historical, and I don't like historical. I like fantasy. I like, deep within the realms of fantasy. But this is historical, and I would not read it, but my girl Gail has written it, so great writer. Like, I absolutely love her writing style, but it's just, I find it kind of hard to get into. I think it's just because it's historical, but I'm going to try to keep reading this. So this is something I've pulled recently. I think this literally just came out. Like, I think it came out May 12th or something like that. I don't know. This next one is something I have no idea if I will like or not. It just seems like I maybe might like might possibly potentially like it, which is true about all of these. I don't know very much about most of them. I like to go by the cover and by, you know, certain keywords in the synopsis, so we'll see. But this one is called Damsel. This is by Alana K. Arnold, and I haven't heard anybody talk about it anywhere, but it looks like it's got some romance in it, potentially. It also might be one of those stories where the main character decides that she's too strong for romance, or, you know, she doesn't care about romance. Like it's the path that somebody set out for her and she, you know, isn't actually interested in it herself. So I don't know. If it is, that's fine. It's just not really the type of book that I'm into, but we'll see. I'm holding out hope that there's something in here I might like. This next one is something I am pretty interested in. It's called We Hunt the Flame. It's by Hafsa Faisal. I actually don't know. I don't know much about this one either. It just says, people lived because she killed, people died because he lived. So it looks like there's a guy and a girl. There might be romance. We'll see. I like for it to be a fantasy adventure with a romance, like strong romance subplot. Yeah, that's how I describe what I like. So this seems like it might be good for that. This next one is something I have already read, but I saw on Book Outlet for super cheap and I did not own it yet, and that is Ogre Enchanted by, once again, my girl, Gail Carson Levine. This one is a signed copy. I did not know that when I bought it. It didn't say it on the website, so I'm so excited. I did like this book a lot when I read it. I got it right when it came out, and I think that was in like 2018, I want to say, and I did get it on Kindle because at the time I was really into Kindle reading. Yeah, so I'm really happy I got this, and I will be rereading it. I am an avid rereader, so very excited for it. This next one is called The Cerulean by Amy Ewing. Amy Ewing. Basically it follows, I've already read some of it. Basically it follows a girl named Sarah who lives in a city that floats over the earth, and she has to sacrifice her. It's another one of those, you know, she has to be the sacrifice stories. And I already hate it. I liked the first part of it when they were up in the sky, but it did have some questionable stuff that I was kind of like, okay. And then after she falls, it follows this guy that's on Earth that I think it's supposed to be the love interest, and I hated him. Like from the first maybe 2 paragraphs I read about him, I already hated him. So DNF, sorry. I already have a DNF in this pile. If this sounds interesting to someone though, like let me know and I can send it to you. If it sounds interesting, let me know. This next one I got on Amazon. It's called The Orphan Queen by Jody Meadows. The only reason I got it was because I had bought The Mirror King on Book Outlet, and the only reason I got this is because look at that cover. Look at that. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I love the colors. I love everything about this cover. So so I bought it because of the cover, and it's the second book in either a series or a trilogy or something like that. So I went ahead and picked up the first one on Amazon, which is not quite as pretty, but yeah, so I'll probably end up reading these at some point. Hopefully I like the first one, because if I don't like the first one I won't be able to read this beautiful one. So I really don't know what this is about. I think there's romance, and I think it's with like one of the like a antagonist type person, which, oh my gosh, that's like one of my favorite things. So I hope that is good. This next one I'm so excited to dig into. It's called The Forbidden Wish by Jessica Corey, and it looks like an Aladdin retelling, and that's all I really know about it, and that's all I really care to know. This next one is going to be a reread for me, and that is The Lost Kingdom of Bamar by, once again. So basically I searched Gail Carson Levine on Book Outlet, and everything that was by her that I hadn't already, you know, owned, I went ahead and bought it. So yeah, I remember liking this one. I don't necessarily remember everything that goes on in it, so I am excited to reread it. Yeah, my girl Gail, I love her. I will say that probably a couple of times throughout this book haul video. These next two I'm pretty sure go together. This is Shimmer and Burn and Splendor and Spark by Mary Taranta, and I've already started to read Shimmer and Burn a little bit, and I'm not sure if I'll like it or not. Maybe. So another thing that's on my laundry list, and this is actually fun to talk about as I kind of go through, because these are things that, I don't know, I'm hoping other people will share in common with me, at some point. Maybe someone will watch this eventually that shares these things in common with me and can recommend me some books. One thing that I don't like is when the main character is already in love with someone going into the story. I want to meet the love interest with the main character, and I want to kind of have time to get to know them too before the main character like falls in love with them. And I like to see how the main character and the love interest fall in love. I don't want to go into the story having them already in love, and then it's like, oh, but like one of the most special parts of a book for me is already like gone. It's already behind us, and I don't like that. So I did start reading Shimmer and Burn, and it has that. So I don't know. They look pretty, but I might give them another chance. But these will probably be the last ones I attempt to read, because since I already know that. Now this next one was a total, like, I'm just going out on a limb and trying it out because I think I was just feeling in an adventurous mood the day I bought these. But this one is called Remember Me by Chelsea Bobulski, and I think it's like a horror-ish like murder mystery, which sounds interesting, but I'm also not into horror, so I don't know if I'll end up liking it or not. But if it's light, like if it's just like spooky stuff and it's not like people ripping other people's guts out, then then I'll probably like it, because I don't mind a little spook. It's just like I want it to have a purpose. I don't just want it to be like, I don't just want it to be gratuitous or for the sake of scaring you. I want it to have like a purpose in the story. So if it does, I might like it. Who knows? Another one by Gail Carson Levine. This is called Writer to Writer, Think to Ink, and it's a writing craft book. But it's more geared towards like younger writers, I feel like. But I mean, I'm a kid at heart. That's fine for me. So I remember reading this a long time ago, but I don't really remember a whole lot about it other than that she gives you a lot of writing prompts. So I'll be rereading this, and I'm glad to have it because Carson Levine, girl, she's my favorite. Okay. These next two are a duology, and I have already read them, so they will be rereads for me. I cannot say enough good about these. These are Even the Darkest Stars and All the Wandering Light by Heather Fawcett. Oh my goodness, these books. So I saw them at my library. This one caught my eye first because of the pink on the cover. I think that's one of my favorite things about covers. But I realized that it was the second in a duology, so I had to order the first one from the library first, read it, decided I liked it, and so picked up the other one. I was broken after I read these, like in a really good way. Like I wasn't sobbing. That's another thing. I hate sad books. If the book is sad and it leaves me in an emotionally compromised state afterwards, I hate it. Even if I liked it, I hate it. So, yeah, no. These left me in a good emotional state. Like I was sad that they were over, kind of thing. But I don't want a third book. Is that weird? I don't know if that's weird. I feel like if it's a good story, it can be self-contained. I'm just talking about for me because like I have very weird specific tastes. So I think these are perfect as a duology. I hope a third book doesn't come out. If it does, I'll probably read it because whatever, but I really, really liked these, so cannot say enough good about these. Basically, so girl loves to mountain climb, girl goes on expedition, girl falls in love with an antagonistic character, and they fall in love, but like not in the first book. Well, they do fall in love in the first book, but then in the second book they have to like fight each other. That's all I'll say. I love these. I highly recommend them. This next one is another book I have heard a lot about. It's called Flame in the Mist by Renee, and all I know about it is that it is a fantasy and that it is an Asian inspired fantasy. That's all I really need to know. I'll probably love it. Every Asian inspired fantasy I've ever read, I have utterly adored with every bone in my body, so I'll probably like this. This next one is called Teardrop by Lauren Kate. Look at that cover. So pretty. And it is an autographed copy. So that's cool. Even though I don't know Lauren Kate, it's just kind of cool to have an autographed copy. It's just fun. But this one I'm not sure because it takes place in the real world, and I don't know if it like goes to a fantasy world after that. I'm not really into portal fantasy. That's another thing, is I kind of like for it to be just a pure high fantasy set in a fantasy world, and it has nothing to do with the world that we're living in right now. And again, I don't really know why. It's just a preference of mine. This one does start off in the real world. It at least starts off in the real world. I'm not sure if it continues on. So this will probably be one of the last books that I end up getting to, and I'll give it a try. I'm not against giving stuff a try, but my intuition tells me I probably won't end up liking it. We'll see how wrong I am, by the way, after I end up reading some of these. We'll see how wrong I am about my, you know, assessment at the beginning and whether or not I do actually end up enjoying it when I thought I wouldn't. So that'll be interesting to see too. Sorry, if the camera's crooked in some of these shots, it's that I'm really trying to like adjust this. I don't know. If it's crooked, I'm sorry, but whatever. So this next one is called The Midnight Dance by Nikki Katz. And actually, interestingly enough, it looks like it came from one of those sites like Wattpad. This one's called Swoon Reads. I've never heard of that. You guys might have, I don't know. But it looks like this book came from somebody posting it on there and then enough people liking it to where they publish it. So I'm apprehensive because I've seen some of those Wattpad published books and man, it's kind of a, I think it's like a historical, but it's a fantasy. It's like a historical fantasy, so I'm into that. Yeah. This next one is one that looks very interesting. It's called Before She Ignites by Jody Meadows, which is actually the same author of the Orphan Queen and the Mirror King that I picked up. But yeah, look at that cover. Oh, look at it. So pretty. Yeah, it looks like it's a trilogy. It says the Fallen Isles trilogy. I liked the cover, and I don't know, it just says, the tagline is, I shouldn't have told the truth, but I did. I think it's another one of those stories where like the girl has to be sacrificed for her village or whatever. I don't know. I guess I like those apparently. Because I mean, the girl is never actually sacrificed. She never actually dies. So, you know. So this next one is A Map of Days by Ransom Riggs, who wrote all of the Miss Peregrines. I actually don't know how to say that word now. Peregrine. I do have the first two. I loved the first book. I think they are middle grade / young adult. I think it might start off as middle grade maybe. No, actually I think it's young adult. I don't know. I think the lines may be a little blurry there. So I did love the first book. Like I said, I don't usually love series. And I think I see that in this series. I think I see that sort of coming to light here because I did start reading the second book, which is Hollow City. That is the book that I got as a reward during NaNoWriMo for myself for reaching a certain word count goal. And I did start reading it. I don't know if I like it. I don't know. It starts off kind of slow. Like there's stuff going on, but it doesn't seem interesting. Like I don't know, like these books are thick and I feel like maybe some of that is like padding and pretentious writing. I know that sounds bad. I know they're very popular and I loved the first book, and I love the photographs. I think the photographs are an amazing touch. These are sprinkled throughout the book, just old found photos, and it's a really fun idea. It's just a really fun idea, but yeah, Ransom Riggs. His writing style is kind of pretentious and I don't know. I think it's just a combination of factors. I'm going to try to continue on with the series. I'm going to try to keep reading the second book. I'm going to try to force myself through some of the more difficult parts because I really want to get to, you know, the other books in the series and see if I like it as a whole. I'm not saying I won't give it another try, but this next one is called The Beast Player. This one I thought was a manga because of the cover. It's a very manga style. I don't know if that's in focus or not, but it's because I thought it was a manga because the cover is very manga style art and I loved it. But yeah, it is a book. Obviously, it's by Naoko Uehashi and it's been translated into English, so I think it was originally like Japanese. It just says, a sweeping fantasy about a girl with the special power to communicate with magical beasts and about the warring kingdom only she can save. So it sounds really fun. So in manga, my tastes are mostly the same as in books, except I think in manga I'm a little bit more lenient about like the subject. Like, so I like Whistle, which is a manga about like a young boys soccer team, which is something I would never read an actual book about. Some of my tastes for manga are a little bit different than books. Not much, but because my favorite manga is a fantasy. But yeah, anyway. So I'm just rambling now. But yeah, so I'm excited to dig into this. It's not very big. So the last two books on my little haul for today are both going to be part of my Alice in Wonderland collection. So this one is Lewis Carroll, A Biography by Morton and Cohen, and I'm pretty sure I read this a long time ago. I know I read a biography about Lewis Carroll at one point, and I think it was this one. It's very thick. This is a thick boy. Let me see how many pages it is actually. I'm super curious. 533 pages. Oh boy. So this isn't one I would sit down and just like read from start to finish. It would be one that I would kind of pick up here and there probably when I'm feeling nostalgic about my childhood, because Alice in Wonderland is my favorite. And I find the life of Lewis Carroll to be very fascinating. It is fun to have in my Alice in Wonderland collection, because I hope to have like a whole collection at some point, that I can, maybe I can do a video on that at some point if I get my collection big enough, and I can talk about, you know, more of it. This one is The Complete Poems and Stories of Lewis Carroll. Okay, it's just like a 2002 compilation of all the Lewis Carroll writings. I kind of got the urge to read some of his poems again, so I found this, and yeah, that's really all there is to say about that. I could ramble about Lewis Carroll and Alice in Wonderland all day, but I won't. That was my book haul. It was, I'm gonna count really quick. Oh my goodness. It was 26 books, which is crazy. This is the biggest book haul I have ever done, ever in my life. Yeah, so this is just a fun little video I decided to do. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will maybe do a follow-up to this sometime in the future after I've read most of these, and kind of maybe let you know which ones I ended up liking that kind of adhered to my taste, and then which ones I ended up unhauling, because if I don't like it for any reason, I will unhaul it. So I don't know, it might be a fun follow-up sometime in the future, we'll see. But thank you so much for watching at any rate, and I hope to see you again on this channel every week, because I post every week, so go ahead and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram below, and I think that's it. I'll see you all again very soon. Bye! Here's what my bookshelf is looking like with all these on here. Looking pretty stuffed. It's double layered. Yeah!